Hey there and welcome to No Recipe Required. So today I'm going to show you a salad that is really quite elegant, beautiful, delicious, and really not all that hard to make. We're going to do a frisee salad. It's frisee is kind of a hearty green, bit of texture to it, more so than say most lettuces out there. We're going to do a poached egg, lay that right on top of the frisee, add a little bacon, lardon, and some mushrooms to it. It is an awesome, 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 like classic French salad, and you're going to love it. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, let's go ahead and make a quick vinaigrette for our salad. This one's going to be a mustard vinaigrette, so I'm going to start off with a little bit of Dijon. It's probably a tablespoon, just under a tablespoon. I'm also going to add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and some vinegar. Vinaigrettes obviously are vinegar and oil. In this case, I'm using a little sherry vinegar, but white wine vinegar, red wine vinegar would all work really well. I'm going to mix that up, and then we got to start adding our oil. And you want to just drizzle it in super slow, just a few drops at a time, and that's going to help to emulsify it. And I like to do about 50-50, maybe a little bit more oil than vinegar, so maybe a 2-to-1 ratio. And as you see it incorporate, you just add a little bit more until it gets to the point you want. It's going to really become surprisingly thick on you as you whisk, which is what you want. And then you just thin it out again with a little bit more oil. And as it gets more incorporated, you can add the oil a little bit faster. I'm probably going to add just a little bit more oil off camera. I'm going to garnish this with mustard seeds because I think it looks kind of cool. Stir those in. Give it a taste. This is really good. I may not add any more oil at all. There's our mustard vinaigrette. I'm just going to kind of move it around and get it down to one layer. And then I'm going to kind of let it alone. Leave it at that medium to medium-low heat and let that fat render out. Okay guys, so if your recipe calls for bacon, you want to go ahead and render it out like we've just done here, and you can see almost all that fat is rendered out, and if you collect or tilt the pan, you can see how much has come out. Remember, we just put in a little bit of that olive oil. Okay, let's go ahead and poach our egg. So I've got water that is just simmering. You definitely don't want it boiling. I added a little bit of salt, and I'm going to squirt it with a good tablespoon, half a tablespoon maybe, of vinegar. And the vinegar helps keep that egg white nice and stable. So the other key is to make sure you put your egg in a little ramekin like this, as opposed to cracking it over the water. This will definitely help. And go right in. And then that egg is just going to kind of set up. I like to just kind of pull it together a little bit, but just let the water kind of do its thing. And we're going to come back in a few minutes. Okay, the only thing you got to do is just kind of move the egg around just a little bit, and it's probably only going to take 2 minutes or so. And then you can just lift it out with a slotted spoon and then drop it into a bowl of ice water to cool off and stop the cooking process. So poached egg is something, again, you can do a couple hours ahead of time before you want to use it, and then take it out of the water, and all the the ugly part of the white, I'll just kind of usually cut off, and you can get a nicely formed little poached egg right there. Okay, you can see how much our chanterelles have reduced down. What you're looking for is that nice brown color on the outside, and they're going to still have a nice tender texture. So you can see, just like almost all lettuce, it's got a head down here, and the lettuce is awfully thick. Easiest thing to do if you're going to use the whole thing is just kind of bundle it together here and slice that head right off. But if you're maybe just going to use some of it, you can kind of come in, take a part of it like that, and then you've got this nice little unit here. clean it off, and you are ready to go. Okay, we've got our frisaise that we cleaned off before. You just want to kind of make sure it's all separated. It's going to be, you know, nice big clumps like that. You just want to make sure the clumps are nice and easy to come off. I've got our dressing. I'm going to add about 3/4 of it. I'm going to reserve just a little bit. I'm going to season with salt and pepper. A little more salt. Let me grab my tongs here. Give it a little toss, just make sure it's all coated. And then we're heating up our mushrooms and our egg as we speak. Okay, everything we've done so far has been ahead of time, up to a couple hours ahead of time. I just put my, my pan back on the heat, and I got my cooked mushrooms. I'm going to bring those back up to temperature. I put some water on the stove top right here. You see it's amazing. To get the egg heated back up, and then let's go mix our greens. Okay, to reheat our poached egg is super simple. I've got it in our water bath, and I'm just going to take it and drop it into heated water for about a minute. You know, just at the simmer point. You don't want the water boiling. You don't want to cook the egg any further. Okay, let's go ahead and plate up our frisaise salad. I've got frisaise, little square lovely plate here. We'll stack it up on one side. Then we've got our egg, which I've just reheated. And I'm going to pull that out, leaving obviously the water behind. And I like to lay that egg right on top of my frisaise, just kind of nest it on there. And you break that yolk, and it gives nice sauce consistency to the plate. A little bit of our bacon lardons, kind of spread out, nice and crispy texture, and of course a great flavor. And then our mushrooms, you know what, as opposed to just throwing them right on the top, how about we just do a little pile off to the side here and let people work them in when they want. And then our last little touch, remember we reserved a little bit of that mustard vinaigrette, which we can take and just do a little drizzle around the plate. Again, letting people work in. A little more dressing if they want. So there's our frisaise salad. I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.